These shears make me roll my eyes. Today, we're going to look at 2 thinning shears, texturizers, whatever you want to call them, shears with teeth that were sent to me by 2 sharpeners, and they were having trouble with both of them, and they're both very, very different shears. And these are probably very cheap scissors, probably, I'm guessing, something that sells for 20 bucks. Maybe both of them are about $20 shears. So keep that in mind as we go through this video. And if you come across these with problems as a sharpener, walk away. Walk away. But I can't walk away. So let's see what happens to them today. I do want to say hello to Tony, or you want to say hello to Tony. Here's Tony.
Hello.
She's from Washington State. She's back there practicing, and you see she has a different machine than ours. I train on other flat hones, and she's been sharpening for a while and successfully, but she's just kind of promoted to the flat hone. Would you say, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And she's actually doing her ISSA certification as we speak. So maybe before I get through, we'll be able to check her shears and show how she did. Tell us if you have any problems with it.
Okay.
So let's take a look at this shear. What are we beginning with? I have this mannequin head, and you see how it's flipping hair. And it's funny, Tony just asked me, she said, what makes a shear flip hair? And I said, well, number one is if the screw is not adjusted right. And this one, the screw is, I think, is tight enough. The other thing is if the blade is out of alignment or dull. And this definitely feels dull. It doesn't feel very sharp. What I'm checking here with my fingernail, sometimes the teeth will have a little bit of a burr pushed to the outside. And I'm feeling that a little bit. So the 2 things I'm going to do to this, I'm not going to take it apart. I'm not going to try to work the ride line, because you see, I think you can see here, this is very flat. This is flat. It really doesn't have a ride line. So I'm not going to take it apart. I'm going to sharpen this blade. I'm going to go over the outside of the teeth with a little diamond file, because I'm feeling some burr that's been pushed this way. And then we're going to test him and hope. Let's see what I want. This is a 80 micron. You know what? I think I'm going to leave it on this cushion plate instead of the flat plate, because this is kind of semi-convexy. It's not a true convex, but I think we want to make it look, it doesn't have a true bevel as such, so I think I want to leave it there. I'm putting in my clamp. Why don't we do a scratch test, see what we're beginning with, whether we're going to leave it there or not. I'm going to guess about 25. Where's the red Sharpie marker? So I've got it set at 25. Looks like it might be a little sharper than 25. I'm going to move it up to 30. But I'm going to rock it just ever so slightly. Going pretty slow though. Got to burr all the way down. A little wimpy at the tip, but I'll make it look better. I have to think about how to get this burr off the inside. On these thinning shears, sometimes if you cut the burr off, you can mess up your teeth a little bit. So now that looks good enough. I don't think I need to polish it, because I do want a little bit of bite to it because it's not a sharp angle. And I think I'll knock this burr off with my little pink stone. Okay, the burr's gone. And I said I was going to work either with a diamond, this pink stone may work on these teeth. So I'm following the angle of the teeth and I'm just going to the edge, almost like I do my nail buffer. Maybe a little bit more pressure than the nail buffer. And this is hard to do if you don't have fingernails. But I'm just feeling to see if there's any burr that's been pushed up that I felt before. I don't feel it now. And I can feel a teeny tiny burr right here. So I'm going to just gently go over that. So I'm going to cut my perm paper. Let's see how it cuts hair. Drum roll, please. Hey, Tony, you got to see this. Look, Tony, remember how these cut? Watch. Thumb out.
Perfect.
Slide through. Okay. So I think the real problem with these, I don't know if you heard it, Tony. I think there was burr that was pushed to the outside of these teeth.
Okay.
So I resharpened this edge, but and it was pretty dull, so I mean it needed sharpening. But I think the problem, there was burr pushed on the outside, and this is what I use, this little pink stuff. Yeah. Okay. Thinning shears and texturizers can be a real booger. And we talked about them yesterday, and that was one thing I didn't mention, is the burr pushed on the outside of the teeth. So, all right, so I'll get on to the next one now. Let's hope this one is going to be as easy. And that burr on the outside of the teeth was probably from the factory. Okay, I do feel burr on the outside of the teeth. That may be what the issue is. Let's see how these cut hair. See, they pull a little bit, but not bad. Just for the heck of it. They probably need sharpening too. I'm going to just go over the teeth and knock any little burr off. If this doesn't do it, there's also some diamond paddles, but usually this little pink stone works pretty good. And then I'm going to go on the inside. He's got, I don't know if you can see this, but this has got some weird things on the inside here. It's like the rod line goes wide and then narrow. I'm not sure what happened to these shears, or if this was like this from the factory. CE Creative Edge. Let's see if we can find those. There's no name on them other than this CE Creative Edge, and they say Japan 420C, which is pretty soft metal and may or may not be made in Japan. Creative Edge. I'm not finding these brands, so nope. So I don't see them. All right, so I did take the burr off the tip. Let's see if that helps. Well, it did help. Do you remember how I was pulling before? That fixed that. So I think if we sharpen the one blade, we'll be good to go. Now, another thing I want to point out to you. You see when I close them, how close those come together? This may work better if it closed like here, because when you close them all the way, it almost squeezes the hair here at the tip. Can you see there's very little gap right there? And so the hair, if you squeeze them tight when you're cutting, you squeeze them tight, you see how it can pinch the hair? So these may work better if I bent the handle a little bit so they came together about there rather than all the way here. Does that make sense? So sometimes it's just that little bit of simple thing. It's not in the sharpening, it's in the mechanics. So I'm going to do a little handle bending, and then I'm going to just sharpen these in a normal way. And I think these will be fixed. So on the handles, I don't ask permission because I'm just very careful. I want to bend these out. So that means I want the handle to go this way. So I make the handle bender go as an arrow. See, it's an arrow that way. And I'm just going to squeeze very gently, like I would squeeze, less than I squeeze a water bottle. And I'm not feeling them move easily. So I'm a little bit afraid to do more. Let's try the other handle. So I'm not feeling them move, so I'm not going to risk that. It'll just have to be what it is. So let's go ahead and sharpen this one blade. So now the question is, do I want to work the ride line or just sharpen it and knock the burr off with a pink stone like I did earlier? Well, let's take it apart and look and see. Let's do something to the ride line. Now this one has 2 washers. And my stone that Kayla flattened for me and did a really nice job. So what I'm doing now is working the rod line. It may look like I've got my hands with the pressure evenly across here, but it's not. It's most of the pressure is over this pivot. And I've got a good rod line here, rod line down there, nothing in the middle, which means to me these are probably out of alignment, but I don't want to fix the alignment. A lot of times when you've got good rod line here, good rod line there, and not in the middle, it means that I'm not pressing hard enough. So I might put a little extra pressure here in the middle. Man, that thing makes a noise. Glad you don't have the fan on that thing.
It's kind of noisy, isn't it?
Yeah, you might be careful of doing that in the salons then, unless you're in the back.
Yeah, that's probably a good
Still
idea.
not getting here. Yeah, you're going to be working out of a trailer primarily, you said?
Mobile trailer or at my home.
So I do have a rod line all the way down. Get a towel. Getting dirty. So, what angle? Feels pretty blunt. I'm going to try a 40-degree angle. Might need to go down to 35. We'll see. These are look like they're pretty inexpensive shears. I bet somebody bought it originally for like 20 bucks or something. I don't know. I'm just not familiar with this name and I couldn't find them on the internet. There's a lot of little off-brand scissors out there. No, nowhere near the edge. So I can either go with a coarser grit and bring it up to 40, or I can pop it down to 35. I don't think I want to go lower than 35, I don't think. Nowhere near the edge. I think I'm going to go ahead and bring them down. Just go with something coarser. Get my edge. You notice I'm not rocking it now. I'm just creating a bevel. I think that's good enough for this shear. Yep, got a nice bevel. That almost sounds like a lawnmower over there. So, while Tony's here today, we are going to Chick-fil-A because Tony has never eaten at Chick-fil-A. And I told Kayla that, and Kayla was like, what? And yesterday she had sweet tea for the first time.
Real sweet.
Yeah, it was real sweet. And what? I hear back there like, what? Tomorrow should be fun because Tony will be here still, and I have someone coming in for training from Mississippi. And I can guarantee you the person from Mississippi has eaten at Chick-fil-A and has had sweet tea. Oh, we might get some boiled peanuts today too. Put in the comments below if you've never had sweet tea, never had Chick-fil-A, or if you've never had boiled peanuts. Alright, so I got that burr off. I've got burr on the outside, so I guess I'll do a little polish. Tony's machine has a different size center hole, so we can't swap out plates, can we?
No, ma'am.
Alright, so I'm going to move my clamp up a little bit. And I'm going to move it up even more than normal because I don't want to round over the edge. I just want to get any of that outside burr off and make it look a little better. Clean them up with some alcohol. Oh, and she had fried green tomatoes for the first time yesterday too, right? You didn't like them though.
I did not care for them, but I love tomatoes.
They're different.
They're different.
We were going to go to our favorite barbecue place today, but when we heard she has never eaten at Chick-fil-A, well, I mean, you know, that feels rough. Still got roughness right there. And that's not coming off with my nail buffer. I'm going to go back on here. I'm feeling more roughness than my nail buffer will get off. Okay, that feels good. Alright, any burr that's left, I should be able to cut it off here. Let me put it back together. Let me test it on the perm paper. And I can use that to cut any burrs off. A little bit loose. Alright, so now we're going to do drum roll again. Drum roll, please. See how they cut hair. I say that's pretty good. Look at here, Tony. Remember those? Cut, pull them straight out.
Yep.
Now, if I cut and I squeeze them super hard, you see how it's folding here and catching it? That has to do with the blade being set too close, and you see how it can squeeze and catch the hair?
Yeah.
But hopefully the person using it does, and that has to do with them being just cheap scissors, and that you can squeeze so hard you can
side
move it.
pressure
Yeah.
on it. It'll
Yeah.
fold.
So, hopefully they are not doing tight squeeze. And usually people are using these. They're not squeezing and pulling out like I am. They're doing this kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, I think those pass. So, it was a successful day for these two thinning shears, and I'm sending them back with a smile on my face. And how you doing over there, Tony?
Doing great.
Doing good, great. Which one are you working on, the convex or the bevel?
The convex.
The convex, yeah. That's the harder one of the two. So, sending these back. I have a video that I suggest if you want to learn more about sharpening, thinning shears, and texturizers, and this is the one I would suggest you watch next. And hopefully I'll see you in Like Tony coming in for training, huh?